Warriors Toronto series is tied 1-1. And one of the key things that you want to go over is basically what have we learned so far. And objectively watching the series, if you objectively watch the series and you're thinking about what's at stake, who's in and who's out, you're asking yourself, why are the Toronto Raptors up 2-0? And why aren't they convincingly beating the Golden State Warriors, even in their wins and whatever may have you? And that basically goes to speak to A, the Warriors championship pedigree, but B, also the lack of experience of closing out. When I mean lack of experience closing out, you saw this with the Houston Rockets. KD goes down, they are able to win Game 5, they lose Game 6. They weren't able to close out. Portland Trailblazers riding the hot streak, face the Warriors, they get swept. Then you look at, and all of those games they faced against the Warriors, they have 15-point leads in 3 of those games. Then you look at the Toronto Raptors. Game 1, they had a lead. Then the Warriors clawed back a little bit. Then they got their lead back up, but the Warriors still clawed back, still made a game a little bit towards the end. Game 2, have a lead, lose the lead. Warriors blitzed them with an 18-0 run in the third quarter, and that essentially seals the game. If I told you, just before the series started, if I'm telling you, well, this was already baked in. No Kevin Durant. All right, we know that. But also, Kevin Looney's hobbled. I'm telling you that DeMarcus Cousins is going to play, but only play 8 minutes one game, 20 minutes another game. Klay Thompson has a hamstring injury. Would you really ever think that this series would be 1-1? No. And that's crazy because even when Klay went down, that was the Raptors' opportunity to really close out the game and win the game, but they didn't. The Warriors went on an 18-0 run. In the fourth, Toronto went on a 10-0 run, but that big shot by Iguodala, and we're going to get to that shot by Iguodala, that big shot by Iguodala essentially sealed the deal. And that stopped, the Warriors had to score for almost 5 minutes, and that stopped the bleeding, and that essentially sealed the game. So that being said, if we put the shoe on the other foot, we say Lowry's down, we'll say Ibaka's hobbled, we'll say Kawhi is out of the series, you would think that would be a sweep. So the fact that the Warriors are still in the series speaks to their championship pedigree. Again, I'm going to give them a lot of credit, but also got to speak about some of these teams' lack of inexperience and inability to really seize the moment. And that's what champions do. They seize the moment. And to me, Nick Nurse, I understand he's doing a lot of X's and O's business. He has to channel his inner Mark Jackson and give those guys confidence. Kyle Lowry, who's been playing terrible. Marc Gasol has been up and down. Serge Ibaka, he needs to tell Serge Ibaka, you're a key component. We need your scoring. He needs to give a lot of those guys confidence, because from what I'm seeing here, it should favor the Raptors this series with all the injuries and everything like that. But what's going on is the Raptors' inability to seize the moment is going to make each game more pressure-packed. And if they lose another game, they're going to feel the pressure, and then they're going to fold. I know everybody says they're a team, they don't fold or whatever the case is. But honestly speaking, if a team doesn't score for 5 minutes and you're on your home floor, you should be able to make a comeback and actually win that game. I think that was a game that they're going to look at themselves and say, hey, we should have won that game. Even down to leaving Iguodala open, I understand the thinking behind it. But with the limited amount of time left, you still want to kind of make some effort to close out. I know they left him open. He thought about it, but somebody should have ran at him at one point here and there. That reminds me of Gasol in Game 1, where he got a lot of shots, 3-point shots, that nobody ran out to him. And in Game 2, you saw a big difference where guys were kind of closing out half-heartedly and running them down. So that being said, shots like the Iguodala shot is an example of the Warriors seizing the moment. And people might say that's a bad shot, and they want some weird conversations recently. A lot of hoopla about who they want taking the last shot, Iguodala or Stephen Curry or Klay or whatever the case is. At the end of the day, in my opinion, you don't want anybody taking that shot. You want that to be a 24-second violation and the rebound going the other way. You wanted that to be a turnover. And even Livingston, he seizes the moment. He takes that lame duck pass that Curry threw, and he throws it to Iguodala. So these are like the small little plays that really decide a series. And when you watch, you're thinking about everything objectively. You're like thinking to yourself like, if before everything happened, if I'm telling you all these injuries gonna happen, it's a 1-1 series, you'll be like, no way. The fact that this is 1-1 series is very bad for the Raptors. And just like all these injuries are haunting the Warriors and hurting them, and everybody's like, they're like a piecemeal team together. From what I'm seeing now, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a report that the Towel Boy has a fractured arm or whatever, because Looney's out indefinitely, basically done for the rest of the series. You know, KD, we don't know when he's gonna come back, if he'll come back. You know, we have so many people that are Clay has a hamstring injury. Iguodala has a calf injury that he's dealing with. So only 2 people that are really, and Steph was sick in game 2, which is another opportunity for the Raptors to seize the moment, which they didn't. So if all of this is going on and they're still 1-1, imagine if the Warriors get a little healthy. Imagine if they don't go down double digits in every single game. Because so far, you know, close to true to form, they've been going down 8 to 10 points every single game so far in the series. Imagine they don't go down all them points. You're in a world of trouble. And to me, I think what the Raptors want in this series is they want the series to extend as far as possible. But, and that's objective reasoning. We want to wear them out and let the injuries take their course. But what they don't understand is, let's just say you push this to a game 7. You're on your home court. Only Kawhi has played a game 7. And I mean, the other guys played it in the conference finals, but a game 7 in NBA finals is something completely different. And the way that Kyle Lowry's been struggling, all these other guys have been struggling, you don't necessarily want to put all that pressure on yourself. You don't want to go down 8 and it feels like you're down 18 and then you start doing some desperation heaves and stuff like that. And another thing is, let's just say it does go to a game 7. Now we're talking about KD has been rested for almost 2 weeks. He could play. So now that's another factor to put in the game and everything like that. So all that being said, both teams should look at it like we want the series to be over as soon as possible. A, Kawhi is hurt. B, you don't want Clay and Iguodala and all those other guys to go down because the Warriors are one more injury away from giving the championship to the Toronto Raptors. They can't sustain another injury after all these injuries. Like, they can't sustain Boogie going down or nothing like that. They have to remain healthy, and that's why they want a short series. The reason Toronto wants a short series is because the longer the series extends, it doesn't matter if you have home court advantage. Warriors have proven they could beat you on your home court. The longer the series extends, the more you have a chance for Kawhi Leonard to get hurt, and the more a chance you have for other guys to get exposed. I'm looking at Lowry. I'm looking at Pascal Siakam and Marc Gasol combining for 18 points. I'm looking at that. And I'm looking at Ibaka. I'm looking at these guys that are not scoring. Defensively, they're trying to do their job, but just not able to score. That's not going to work against the Golden State Warriors. Because the thing about the Warriors is if they lock you up defensively and you're not scoring and they're not scoring, but they're the better scoring team, they're going to make they're going to be able to make more of and most of their scoring opportunities more than a team that struggles to score. So for most of the third quarter, Raptors were unable to score. If you play a game like that with the Warriors, you box in one of them, and whatever the case it is, you're putting yourself in a position that you have to score as well. And last time I checked, game 2, Raptors shot 37%. So I don't think you want to play that kind of game, turn it into like a defensive battle, try to make it 88-80 or whatever the case is, because when it all boils down to it, Warriors have better free throw shooters, and they are able to score in a more efficient manner. Now let's talk about this boxing one. People are saying like they should run this if Clay doesn't come back for game 3. They should run this boxing one stuff. You can run that boxing one, but what's going to happen is this. Alfonso McKinney, Jonas Jerebko, Quinn Cook, they're going to put those guys on the floor to balance the floor, and they're going to shoot you out the zone. If you're going to give those guys wide open threes, and then you're gonna have Draymond, Curry, and Iguodala on the floor, and for spacing purposes and cutting and setting screens, they're going to shoot you out that zone. One way or another, they're going to shoot you out that zone. I know Alfonso McKinney struggled in game 2, but if you're putting role players in a position where all they have to do is catch and shoot, you're in trouble. And that's kind of the thing that I think the Raptors have to understand about all these X's and O's changes that Nick Nurse is making. The X's and O's are great, but they have to do something about the team's confidence. Because I don't want to say their confidence is fractured or shot or nothing, but the way some of those guys are playing, it's not Raptors basketball, and it's not championship basketball. It's not seizing the moment. If the Warriors played against a team that didn't score for 5 or 6 straight minutes against them, for the most part, they're gonna score. They're gonna make plays. If only one guy is hobbled, but the other team, if Curry is hobbled, let's say Curry's hobbled, Durant is hobbled. We've seen this last year against the Pelicans. Last year, just every single year that the Warriors had a run, somebody has actually been injured before the finals. We've seen where they've been able to win games and stuff like that. So for the Raptors to not seize the moment is very telling to me, and it's very scary for me for the team, because it's just like, you understand, the longer the series extends, the more pressure it is for you to win games. And for the Warriors, all they want is a quick series. They want quick out and everybody get healthy. That's all they want, because they know how to win games. They know how to win ugly games. They know how to win close games. They know how to honestly speaking, for the most part, they don't really beat themselves. What I've been seeing from the Raptors is going up double digits each game, you're beating yourself with some of the things that you're doing. And Kawhi is not going to be able to run pick and roll against DeMarcus Cousins all day long. That's not going to work. God forbid he bangs knees with somebody. So objectively watching the series, the Raptors should feel like they're in a better position. Now, I know emotionally they might feel they're good. Warriors might feel like they're good, but both teams have deficiencies. One is health for the Warriors, and one is really for the Toronto Raptors, season moments. They haven't been able to seize moments. Only moment they've really been able to seize is game 1. But other than that, if you're watching, even in game 1, Warriors weren't out of the picture. So this is game 3 is really important, but it's really important for the Toronto Raptors, because I think if they lose the next game in game 3, and if Clay plays, which is, it looks like from what his shooting was doing, he looked pretty good. If Clay plays, they lose game 3. If they lose game 4, please believe this about the Warriors. When they go to Toronto, they're going to try to close them out, point blank period. They're not going to mess around. And I'm not seeing like a 5-game series at all. I'm seeing a 6 to 7 game series still in the Warriors' favor. But from what I'm seeing, it's like the Warriors are kind of lulling everybody to sleep with all these injured people. Like, they respect them. Vegas respects them, give them a 6-point win against the Raptors in game 3. But I think what people aren't understanding about the Warriors is they are masters at seizing the moment. Toronto hasn't mastered that yet, and that being said, that's dangerous. Like, if you lose game 3, that puts a lot of pressure on you to win game 4, and it's that pressure busts pipes. Either makes diamonds or busts pipes. And with Kawhi hobbled, I don't like that for them. I don't like that for them, and that's all objectively speaking. Hoops Junction, where Hoops meets Hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.